Okay. Welcome everybody. Thank you for being at our Toastmasters meeting. Welcome everybody. We're glad to see you all for the new year, for 2018. Happy 2018. Happy New Year to everybody here and those of you at home or randomly looking on YouTube at our amazing club. We appreciate it and thank you for everybody being dedicated and showing up here right after recovering from the holiday season. The mission of our club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Welcome. This is our Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. I'm the president, Dennis Chomez. We meet every Tuesday here at 7:45 p.m. We're right nearby all the good ice cream sales and delicious frozen food in the Hy-Vee Club Room here in Fairfield, Iowa. Let's get started. Let's first of all introduce our Toastmaster for the day, myself. Introduce myself. It was very modest of me to introduce myself. And let me introduce some other people now. First of all, our timer for the evening is Ryan Prana Miller.
Thank you, Dennis.
Give Prana
Good evening, Toastmasters. We're all Toastmasters, I believe? Yes. No guests and viewers at home. I know it's cold out there, but you should make it here. It's good. It's nice and warm in here. Tonight I'm the timer, and I will be keeping track of the time of one speech only, which will be 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll put on the green. At 6, the yellow, and at 7, the red. And then I will also be timing the table topics, which I'm sure we'll have, and that's 1 to 2 minutes. So just watch for the green at 1, the yellow at 2, and the red at 3. And then for evaluations, I'm sorry, I can count. Green at 1, yellow at 2. No, I can't. Green at 1, yellow at 1.5, red at 2. There we go. Thank you. Yes. Supportive Toastmasters community. All right. Next, that's the table topics, and then we evaluate speeches. And the evaluators get 2 to 3 minutes. Green at 2, yellow at 2.5, red at 3. And then I believe I'll also be keeping track of Emory at the end of the meeting for the general evaluation. And I'll give a timer report at the end of the meeting. Thanks. All right. And just remember to give 30 seconds of grace periods. Yes.
Nice.
So someone should qualify tonight.
Yes.
Someone should.
Right on.
Yes. In some speech.
Nice.
Somewhere. I'm done.
We'll get him to qualify. Thanks, Ryan Prana Miller, also known as Prana.
Yes.
We got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, to mention something very appropriate for the season that we are in. It is January. January is one of the best months because it's time everybody puts the metal to the road. Resolutions or no resolution. It's time to begin again. The meeting theme today is beginning again. We must, quote from Joseph Campbell, we must be willing to get rid of the life we planned, so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come. Historical quote, epic quote. Next up, tying it back to the regular meeting, Mr. Will Burns will be our grammarian for the evening. Woo!
Thank you, Dennis. My job as grammarian this evening is to keep track of any especially exceptional uses of the English language, any language that transforms us and transports us to a different place. I also will keep track of our word of the day, which today is spiel. Spiel is a rapid line of often extravagant talk, or a speech delivered especially to sell or promote something. It's kind of a different word, but one that goes along with our mission here as communicators and leaders. And I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Will. Next up is our all counter for the evening. Watch out, Jean Symington Craig. We lost the odds.
Yeah, I'm just keeping warm, totally. So this is it. It's all good. My role as the counter is to count filler words that we don't want to introduce into our speech. Some examples of these are like, you know, so, but, and, tongue clicks. Tongue clicks are sounds. A Xerox or a false start. Anyway, don't double dribble. That's another way to call it. It's when you start a sentence. You're doing it twice. Looks good. I will be counting these. If you start off on a spiel, I don't care how enthusiastic you are, if you start putting in filler words, it's not a good thing. So that's what I'll be counting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Excellent. Our general evaluator for the evening is Emery Styron.
And you'll be hearing my spiel later.
Nice. Right on. Watch out. Everybody on alert. Resolution time comes to challenge. He will be giving us some suggestions and evaluating the evaluators, or evaluator, this evening. Our greeter and our joke master for the evening will be Mr. Dan Craig. We are pleased to have Dan Craig as our joke master. Now's the time where I will be moving to prepared speeches. And I realize I must mention something. To all of you Toastmasters here, which is everybody, be sure you fill out this manual for the role that you do today. Don't forget, get credit, get yourself and the club credit for leadership and roles you've done. Another thing is there's this beautiful device that we have so many engineers, physicists, mathematicians, and countless other marketing advocates have developed. The cellular phone, please make sure it's off or on silent. Thank you. Let's move on to prepared speeches for the evening. Today, we have at least one speech, potentially another, depending if he shows up or not. Let's give a warm welcome to our evaluator for our first speech from Miranda, Dan Craig.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, it's my honor tonight to introduce Miranda Gothard, who's going to be giving her project number 2, Organize Your Speech. Let me first read the objectives for the project. They are: select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech. Second, make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another. Create a strong opening and conclusion. The time of the speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Miranda Gothard is a creative writer, a world traveler, a star girl extraordinaire. Sounds almost like a spiel. She hopes that we all follow after our faith and do something different. The title of her talk is Passion, Plan, and Promise, a Game. Please welcome Miranda.
Good evening. Toastmasters, international Toastmasters, viewers at home, and friends. Passion, plan, and promise. I touched on this briefly at our table topics last week, but I'd like to give you a greater understanding of something that moves me profoundly. I'll begin with the crochet example one more time. I had the promise via my grandmother's proof that it was possible to become very excellent at crochet. I had the promise. The plan was that one day I would pick up a crochet hook and a ball of yarn. And through dedicated passion, day in and day out, I learned to make this. I made this in less than 1 month, and that was going slowly. I've made so many things, I can't even explain them all to you, and I've kept almost nothing for myself. It is possible to promise ourselves to do something, that if we have proof that it can be done, we can find it in ourselves to muster forth the ability through plan and passion. Now comes the tricky part of my speech. I have a much greater passion, plan, and promise than crochet. At 20 years old, I heard the small, still voice say something very tremendous to me. Now, if you believe in a sect of religion, if you believe in a path of faith, you can't deny it. Why? Because to you there is proof. There is a promise of Holy Scripture fulfillment. At 20 years old, I set out to begin with passion and planned accordingly to find a way in our generation to fulfill the Holy Scripture. Sounds easy. No, not really. We have one storybook, forgive me. We have one storybook that is 2,000 years old. People have been trying to crack the Da Vinci Code. We've been trying to figure out, how does the bride say come? How does Jesus come back? Was he ever real? Because if he's not real, then we have no proof. We have no promise. Why would we develop a plan? Why would we have passion? But I have had proof that Scripture shall be fulfilled in our lifetime. Now, with crochet, the proof is very tangible. You sit there, you work on it, it appears before your eyes. With spiritual battles, the Scripture says, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with powers and principalities. So when you're on a spiritual journey, fighting day in and day out to somehow manifest the ability that our favorite belief system can somehow be fulfilled, well, is it physical? Slowly but surely it is. It is physical. I'll give you an example. In the Transcendental Meditation movement, there is a technique called flying. To the rest of us, excuse me, it looks like butt bouncing. You're bouncing around on a mat. How is that flying? Because for one instant in that meditator's mind, when they lift off the ground within themselves, they are flying. And if only for one instant, one human can believe within themselves, I have achieved the unachievable. I have attained that which ought not be attained, but there is proof and there is a promise that it can be attained, that you can fly. And that's one path. That's the TM path. Now with Christians, we believe Christ will come back. Well, how? And we believe there is a mark of the beast, but how? Well, I don't know. Do you take a selfie to look at your selfie to show everyone your selfie? Sounds like man, 666 to me. What's in your hand and what's in your forehead? Well, that's easy. It says in Revelation that in the last days they will be fooled by their sorceries. Okay, what does that word mean in Greek? Sorceries means pharmakia. Do we have the ability to have AI technology through pharmaceuticals override our bodies? I don't know. It'll prove itself eventually, right? In Acts 1, it talks about, and forgive me for referencing scripture that some of you may not believe in, it says that Jesus went away, he was caught up, and that he will come again in the same way he returned, right? Right, well, that word caught up means went on, all right? So how does he come back if he just went on? Is he an ever-living human that defied death? Is he an alien who was zapped up into a ship who will just come back with his fleet of angelic forces? Well, it will prove itself. Why? Because we're all waiting for it. Whether it's the Holy Quran and Allah is merciful, there is a fulfillment of Scripture. Whether it's the Jewish Kabbalists with their prayers and magic, forgive me, it will be fulfilled. Whether you're a Scientologist or an atheist who says God isn't real and I am my own God, perhaps, it will be fulfilled. It says, let every man who is righteous be righteous still, and every man who is wicked be wicked still. Well, doesn't that kind of mean that we are our own determination of what we shall fulfill in our lives? Have you ever noticed that you thought of something in the morning, and by the end of the day, it had manifested into your life? Whether it's, wow, I hoped my friend would call me. Oh my, I hope this music video that I'm watching tells a story that I can relate to. Because I've noticed day in and day out, just like those TM meditators who fly for a moment, that in my spiritual journey, I can achieve something for one moment that it's so huge that the energy ripples out from among me. And there it is, a manifestation of something I just thought of very passionately. The thing I am most terrified of ever saying to another human being, and God forbid I have to hear it from another being like, you said that, is that what I believed in one moment, a third of my life ago, is that I chose to believe that the second coming of Christ could be all of us. Why not? Christ said that greater things than I did, you will do also. He died for us. What greater thing can we do except believe in what we believe? Not be lukewarm, but be hot or cold, lest we are nothing. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you and spill my guts. Because just like crochet, I want to get really good at these spiels. Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Mr. Timer. Please repeat also which speakers qualified.
Yes, Miranda,
Speaker.
is qualified.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Timer. Next up then, we will be taking a look at some important details. It is time to look at how everything went and to have our evaluator, Mr. Dan Craig, go up and give Miranda an evaluation.
You're stepping on my first meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's just pretend that
Oh,
Emery
Emery.
just said that.
oh yeah.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mr.
Thank
Toastmaster.
you. And we delegate the attention to this guy, Mr. Emery.
Just trim it.
Trim that part out.
Yeah.
Oh, Photoshop your head.
Photoshop.
Nice spiel.
Photoshop. I'll try to spiel out.
Okay, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. It's my pleasure as General Evaluator to run the evaluation section of the meeting. We have one manual speaker tonight, and our evaluator for Miranda has already been introduced, so please let me welcome Dan Craig.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and Miranda. I'm going to use the manual and refer to the objectives that are in here, and then try to give feedback to Miranda to tell her what seemed to go well and if there are any suggestions for something that might improve if you were to give the speech again or something similar. In the evaluation guide of the manual, it's got several categories: speech value, preparation, organization, opening body, conclusion, and transitions. So let me touch on those quickly. Speech value, was this interesting to the audience? Yes, we were all quite interested to hear Miranda's talk. Preparation, did it seem that there was research and rehearsal? I'm not clear on that because I haven't seen Miranda speak enough. It could very well be that you could stand up and say that. I couldn't, so maybe you did rehearse quite a bit. Organization, logical, clear. I thought it could have been a little stronger in that aspect, and I'll touch on that as I go in a minute. Then it asks about opening body conclusion. I thought the opening was very well done. I particularly liked that you draped the beautiful crochet piece here. You talked about passion, plan, promise, how that can lead to something obviously manifest like a crochet piece. And then you began to draw a parallel for us in terms of how something spiritual can be achieved by that same passion, plan, promise. So that was very strong, very nicely done. In the body of the speech, I thought there were actually too many points. For an audience to follow a speech easily, it's better to have 3 points in a 5 to 7 minute speech. It's not that you're dumbing your speech down, it's just that as new material goes by somebody, it's always good to keep them aware of where they are. So you don't exactly have to say it, but it's almost better to say, my first point is, and then give a little bit of detailed stories that go along with that. My second point is, my third point is, then you get to the conclusion and you say, I started off saying that I was going to draw a parallel between crochet and my spiritual development. I gave you these 3 points and da-da-da. As you gave your talk, you gave a lot of interesting things. I was impressed about the things that were coming out of your mouth. But in some cases, it was so much flying by our ears that we didn't really absorb it, I thought. As an example, at one point, you were saying, man, 666 selfies, revelations. It was all probably good, but it wasn't a clear point for me to dig into and absorb. And related to that, it's probably a good idea to remember to give pauses. You give a point, you pause, the audience catches up to you. And then that means they absorb better. The last thing that I would suggest is that you, as I mentioned with the conclusion, really wrap it up specifically. I was going to do this, I did that, and that's how it ties together. What I really liked about the speech was your energy, your passion. It was there. We were really experiencing that from you, and it poured out of you in a very impressive way. Nice job. I look forward to hearing more. Thank you.
At the risk of scooping my evaluation of the evaluator, I just want to say that you have just seen a master evaluator at work. So we could all learn something from Dan's evaluations. Okay, we now are going to move into the table topics portion of the meeting. And our table topics master tonight will be Hy-Vee.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. Our theme today is about beginning again, restart. We need some volunteers to ask them about their experience. Yeah. As Jean. Yes, I have 5 questions. You can choose 1 to 5. 2. Okay, usually people have plans to change in the new year. What is your plan to change this year, or to have something quit or start this year? Thank you.
Thank you. Connie, you want to get the light? Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests who are running late because their cars are broken down and they're dealing with cold, and viewers at home. I've been around the block a few times. I've done this New Year's resolution bit a lot. I've succeeded occasionally. I've seen other years where I lasted maybe several weeks. My birthday's at the end of January, so I always say that I get an extra chance to start again. If I blow it in the first couple of weeks, I can still start over. It's a reboot. This year, I do have a resolution. It has to do with bedtime. I have got to get to bed earlier. Where did this happen? I used to go to bed fairly early. And then 2016 happened, and it was the whole election thing going on here in the US, and I couldn't put my device down. I was getting hot and anxious and all kinds of things, and I just figured, okay, it's all right, just 1 year, we'll have the election, then it'll be done. Wrong. 2017 was probably just as stimulating in a somewhat disturbing way as 2016. So I'd be there, and there's something very peaceful about late at night. Very peaceful. Everyone else has gone to bed. It's just kind of a quiet time, and I'm looking at stuff, and my bedtime is just shot. I like late night, but I really like mornings too, and I can't have them both because I need my sleep. I do. I'm an 8-hour-a-night person. So I am committed to getting off of this wildness that I've been on in terms of the late night. Occasionally. I mean, occasionally I will be wild. That's just part of it. But in terms of a regular routine, I want to get to bed earlier so I can get up and experience morning again. I'm going to start with be in bed by midnight. It's not too hard. I have to be in bed by midnight. And I'll see if I can work it down from there. Stay tuned.
Here. So, looking for, oh yeah, before I look, yeah, well, welcome. Choose 1 to 5, not 3, not 2.
Not 2. Let's do 1.
1, okay. So it's, tell us about an experience of trying to start something or quit something and you never success on that. Thank you.
Every year around this time, I'm forced to engage in a fair amount of reflection, take note of my life, what I feel to be important throughout the entire year, throughout my entire life. But it's doubly so because this is the time to really approach that and to address that within myself. And I say, well, I need to change my priorities. So I adjust in certain things, like in years past, I stopped practicing dance. I stopped really dancing a lot. And you know what? Actually, that was fine. I kept on rolling through life, doing my thing, found other things to fill it up. But I've recently been getting back into it. And it's been interesting to me that as I get back into it, I realize just how much enjoyment there is that I've forgotten about. I just totally turn my back on. You know, it's a chance to have I personally like, whatever kind of dance you like, if you like dancing, I totally support you. Whatever kind of dance you like, that's that's cool. I personally like couples dancing because I feel like it's a wonderful chance to have a conversation. When you're doing a number of performance dances, you're doing modern dance, jazz, you can do all these beautiful kind of performance-based things. You can take the audience and uplift them. But when we're talking about partner dancing, it's a chance to have a conversation. It's a chance to go out there and to just listen to them, see what they want to kind of express, and also kind of showcase what you can do, and what you like to time, what you feel a good presentation is. And for me, that is something in my life that it's a simple thing, something that I could endlessly enjoy doing for the rest of my life, and it's something that I hope to continue to do. But I feel like, if I'm being honest with myself, there's times that I will jettison it, forget all about it, and then come back to it at some point. And the cycle will continue. Thank you.
Yeah. 3 to 6.
3 or 6?
3, 4, 5, 6. 3 to 6.
3.
3. Okay. Do you believe in beginning a new life again after death or hereafter? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Toastmasters. Viewers at home. I truly do not believe in the hereafter. I would like to. I was raised and taught that. I'm not totally sure that I'm correct, but I see no evidence of a hereafter for me. I believe the world will go on, the universe will go on, but as far as I can tell, when the light goes out, the light goes out. And I'm okay with that. I was raised in a Southern Baptist household, and so many people have said, well, the people who don't believe in God and eternal life, how can they cope? How can they be a good person? How can they go on? They have no hope. But that just doesn't resonate with me. I have to go with what makes sense. We have lost a daughter when she was 30, and I don't know that thinking that we will reconnect in some other world, it just seems too far-fetched to me. So maybe I'm too literal. There are times when I pray. There are times when I attempt to commune. But to me, God is a word for the huge, infinite mystery of life. And I guess nobody really knows, and maybe nobody will ever know. We'll just have to find out. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. We have 4, 5.
5.
Okay. 5. Tell us about or when you have lost priceless thing and you had to start over without that thing. Maybe it's human, maybe it's a toy while you were a child.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening then. Thank you. It's the Table Topics Master. fellow Toastmasters, guests in the future, and viewers at home. Priceless, rather, people, things that I have lost in my past, as all of us here have or will, is my beloved family members in the past. I've lost a couple of relatives and both my grandpas in the past. I would say every time somebody passes away, it's really a remembrance of a lot of beautiful things about their life. And it's also a spirit of renewal. Even though some view it as an afterlife, after some people view it as everything is dark, and some people, like me, may see it as a mystery. It really is interesting to see how it invigorates so many people when I attend their funeral, or when I think about attending their funeral in some cases where I have not been able to attend. It's been invigorating to think about how one tree may have collapsed, but now new trees all come up in the forest. And that's my spiel regarding how really there's that renewal aspect about life, and how I lose something priceless, but we can always cope as human beings because we know that everyone has lived for some purpose, and that we really do remember everybody. We remember the best things about them, and we also know what they sacrificed for all of us, what they've left behind. The most important things that they leave behind is our family, our friends, and hard-working values that we all cherish. That holds us together, keeps things going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have time, right? I have two questions. So we'll.
I guess it's raise your. I'll go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One.
Thank you.
5?
No.
No.
4 or 6?
4, 6, 4.
4.
4.
Okay, tell us about an experience when you gave up a primary plan in your life that couldn't be done for some conditions,
Okay. Yeah.
and you had to find another alternative
Right.
plan.
Plan. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right. That's good. All right. It's hard to ask. That's the question. I can't ask for a detail. Okay. A plan. Am I on the clock yet?
No.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. That door's just got a mind of its own over there. All right. Toastmasters guests at home and viewers at home. I once had a plan to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a 2,600 mile long trail, and this trail is a really physically demanding and challenging feat, and it takes about 6 months. It's basically a give up everything that you are used to: diners, restaurants, spas, nice warm beds, all those things. But the plan that I had to give up, I was on the trail, and I was basically thinking that I was going to finish it. And I was like, 2,600 miles, I'm going to finish this trail. But winter set in, and it was cold, and I ran out of water, and I was in the middle of the mountains with my crew of 8 people, and it just didn't seem realistic, right? It didn't seem realistic. So I'm out there. Just to give you an idea, this is a memory that, so it's a memory, right? I'm here now, but that point in my life, the physical world seems so overbearing. It was challenging. You know, you have the elements, you have burning muscles, you have just all these pain and stuff. So you're dealing with that, and you're out there, and you question, should I just keep going? But I decided not to finish the trail, and I just really enjoyed the idea of coming back to society, and society is so much more comforting. It's great. So at that point, I didn't finish the trail, and yeah. But basically, what I want to talk about, that's what I did. But what I want to talk about in my remaining time is that letting go of things is like the New Year's. I'm not letting go of anything. I just want to embrace everything that I have in my life and not let go of anything, and just just be happy with what I have. I don't have any desire to create a new plan. I'm just going to keep on the trajectory that I have in the next, forge ahead. And that's the end of my spiel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
so much. I have one more question.
Oh, good for
Question or evaluation?
No, he wants to do a question.
Okay.
Question, yeah.
Question, okay. I have one question.
Hope I have an answer.
Yes. Do you believe in beginning a new life after death, but not hereafter? It's reincarnation. Repeat it. Do you believe in beginning a new life after death, not hereafter, but reincarnation? Thank you.
Stop it, master, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. I will say that I don't 100% believe in reincarnation. Sometimes that crossed my mind in that I come across a certain situation and I would say, somehow it seemed familiar. I must have seen it in probably a previous life. Right? But to say that I'm looking forward to actually doing some specific activity after this life, which is what I think reincarnation is. I don't really believe in thinking that way. The way I think is I should do what I want to do now in this life, and concentrate on this life and not thinking that, well, I'll come back again to finish what I didn't finish in this life. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Timer? Yeah, could you please tell us who's qualified?
Yeah. Will, Emery, Dennis, Prana, Frazier.
Okay, yeah, Frazier, Mr. Frazier.
Okay.
We had some excellent talks tonight. Excellent spiel, if I may say so.
Ah.
So first, Jean, she paused, addressed the audience, and was very clear. She had good gestures and facial expression. And she used the stage. My suggestion to her, she could use the stage a little more instead of just staying one place and delivering this speech. Will. He paused. He was in very deep thought and delivered. I haven't got any suggestions or anything for you. Oh, sorry, one thing. Yeah, you could control your body movements a little more, be more, how we would say it, positive. Sometimes it looked a little, sometimes aimless in your movement, and to be a little more positive. Emery, do you believe in the hereafter? Yeah, he had some very deep, a bit long pause and had deep thought. He greeted the audience and had great gestures. I don't have any suggestions for you at this time. Dennis. Yeah. When you lost a priceless thing and had to start over again, yeah, he greeted the audience, had some large, good gestures, I don't have anything specific for you. Prana, well, okay. Experience some when you gave up a plan and had to rethink. Yeah, he took his pause, greeted the audience. One thing I find, you could be a little more passionate, you know. Like you said, you had to hide that trail, you know, you could make some big gestures at that point. So general, yeah, and you had burning muscles, you know, you could show some of that, you know. Moving to the next topic, and so I think you could have wrapped up, you know, at that point. So that's all. Mr. General Evaluation, that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Frank. Okay, Mr. Timer, can you tell us which evaluators qualified?
Dan and Frazier, sorry. Frazier qualified. Yeah, for sure, Frazier.
Frazier qualified.
Yeah, this family has.
Okay. So we will not need to vote on the evaluators.
4 minutes for Dan. Don't shoot the messenger.
I expected we would have a lot of table topics, so I lengthened that time out to 4 minute maximum.
Oh, did we have an evaluated edition?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on table topics, I'm not. Okay.
Dan was the
Strike that, never mind that. So we do not have a tabletop, an evaluator contest.
So we will now move on to reports. Could we have the timers report?
Yeah. Of course. All right. Yes, that was a vivacious greeting. I feel like I just got here now. Like woke up. Everybody take a second, just breathe in. Put your arms on the ceiling and breathe out. Okay. Time. Miranda spoke for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Sorry, 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Yes, you're right. Jean spoke for 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Will for 2 minutes and 10. Emery, 1:58. This is table topics. Dennis, 1:59. Prana, 2 minutes and 21. Frazier, 1:45. On to the evaluations. Dan managed to speak for 4 minutes and 3 seconds in a great evaluation. And Frazier also spoke for 3 minutes and 25 seconds, just under the cusp. And I think we still have to hear from Emery later for the general evaluation. And I believe that my job is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now hear from our grammarian, Will Burns.
The people that used spiel in being tonight were, that I heard, Emery, Dan, Dennis, Prana, Frazier, and Miranda won out with doing it twice. So there were 2 in there, so good job. Also, Miranda had some great uses. Well, first off, Prana, vivacious. Nice word there. I might use that for a word of the day or sometime. Maybe next week. We'll see. There was a number of, I thought, some very interesting language in Miranda's speech. The problem was it was going so fast, I couldn't quite take it down. So I was like, well, that's a great line. How'd that go again? It was so precise and structured. So, but all in all, great meeting and had a lot of fun being the grammarian. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Will. And now our all-counters report from Jean Symington Craig.
I have standard counter words, and then I also have some customized words that people used. Miranda, 1 so, 4 right, 2 now. Count as filler words. Will, 3 ahs, 2 ums, 2 you knows, 6 Xeroxes, starting again, and then 3 or 4, I can't tell, kind ofs. Kind of is, for me, is a filler word element. It's a little passive. Let's see, Hudaifa got a so, and he had, it's like I'm crossing something out, so that made, it's like he had a so. It's good. Emery had 1 1 1 and 2, kind of a lip smack, which I have that. But, you know, it's freezing out there. It's sub-zero. Everybody's lips are dry. There's no moisture anywhere. So if you need to smack your lips to keep it going, that's okay. It's a temperature-related thing. And then 1 Xerox. 1 Xerox. Dennis, 1 4 ands. A little bit of a string-on thing there. Actually, when I say 4 ands, you're not supposed to go nice. You're supposed to go. You're supposed to go, I'll work on it.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Begin again.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, yes. Okay, Prana, 3 ums, 1 you know, 1 so, 7 ands. It's like on that trip and this was happening and then da. So just want to make sure you put periods in there somewhere. And then also 1 right. Maybe you're getting that from Miranda. I don't know. Is it contagious? Frazier, 2 ahs, 2 ums, 2 you knows, 1 and, 3 start overs or Xeroxes, and 1 right. Right? And that's it. Thank you. That's my report.
And now for our greeter, Joke Master.
Thank you, Mr. GB. Fellow members, I'm going to read this one. This is related to New Year's resolutions. This is in regard to a resolution to get in shape. A friend of mine had resisted efforts to get him to run with our jogging group until his doctor told him he had to exercise. Soon thereafter, he reluctantly joined us for our 5:30 a.m. jogs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. After a month of running, we decided that my friend might be hooked, especially when he said he had discovered what runner's euphoria was. Runner's euphoria, he explained, is what I feel at 5:30 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Just killed my plans. Return to running. Okay, it's now my time to evaluate the evaluators and the general meeting. So I have just a few comments. One for Dennis as kind of president and person who gets the meeting rolling. I'm always wanting to see you streamline that a bit. That's a personal preference, but this is a forum for me to get that out there. It's just my personal opinion. Whether if you hear it from somebody else, maybe it'll have more value. But I did want to say that. Just you thank everybody for coming. You greet them. You welcome them. But maybe one of each is enough. Okay. All right, Dan. His evaluation of Miranda. Dan has this wonderful ability, I wish I had, to be insightful, thoughtful, honest, but never harsh. And that is a great quality in Dan, and I love to watch his evaluations because he did that. Lots of praise in Miranda's evaluation, many of those things that I had written down myself in the comments. And very thoughtful suggestions, 3 of them, to simplify to 3 points, to use pauses, and to wrap up. My suggestion to Dan is talk to all of us. You were pretty much focused on Miranda during this talk. Frazier, I don't know, is this the first maybe or second time you've done table topics evaluation? And I could tell you had been listening very intently because you had specific praise for each person and suggestions for most. My suggestion for you is that if you do not have a suggestion for improvement, you make a suggestion for just a different way to do something. Like you didn't have a suggestion for me. You could say, you might try lowering your voice, or whispering, or pausing to bring out some points. It's not necessarily a criticism, it's just something to make people think a little wider, broaden their techniques. And that wraps up my report, and I turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster and President, Dennis.
Thank you, Emery. Let's move on to our awards. This award, first of all, is for our speaker. There's a lot of suspense in the room. We have our best speaker for the evening, Miranda Gothard. she's not only our best speaker, but she also got another award, which we're going to replace with. It's actually number 3. Sorry. Speaker. We'll give you your award after.
It was 2.
Thank you.
That's 2.
Yeah. Thank you,
All
Miranda.
right, congratulations.
And now we have our best, our greatest table topics. It's gonna go to Emery. Emery Starvin. Thank you. Well done. Next up, last but definitely not least, is the evaluator. Lots of suspense again in the room. I'm gonna end my spiel real soon because Fraser Jones, you have been chosen to be the best evaluator. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you, everybody. You inspired me to begin again, and we begin this year with good habits such as showing up on Tuesdays for Toastmasters. Remember that, those of you at home. Let's move on to introduce our president, myself, for closing comments. Okay, so that was very arrogant. Now I'm going to make a couple announcements quick. Saturday, we have officers training right here at 9:30. It's 9 o'clock or 9:30, and I'm about 90% certain it's 9:30 a.m. in the morning. This Saturday, officers, all of you that are in town, please make it. That includes officers who are at home. And also, anybody who is a member in general is welcome, more than welcome, to make it over there.
We have a show of hands of who's able to commit to be there this Saturday.
Saturday. So we got 3. Okay. We've got 3 committed. Oh, I'm not getting peer pressure to everybody else. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So we got 3 committed right now in this room. This is officers training, and it's going to be directed by our area director, Paul Wood. So there you go. That'll convince more hands up. So we got 4 now. 4 and 5. I'm sure you'll drag him along, even if he doesn't want to get out of bed on Saturday morning. So we got 4, 5, and then we'll peer pressure everybody else who we can.
I just comment because we call it officer training, but it's actually open to any Toastmaster, and you can come and it'll be good because Paul is a really good speaker and leader. He's been the district director, the top guy here in the state, so he is kind of a big fish in a small pond. So it'll be good to get info from him and
He's got that
and bring your
Yeah.
grocery shopping. You can shop afterwards. You were going to have to come here anyway.
Yeah.
So just regular Toastmasters can come and
And
listen.
he's got that cute British accent.
Yeah.
He does.
Exactly.
Or Australian, whatever.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's British.
From
It's
British. Yeah. No, that's a really good point because I remember even his spiel he gave the table topics when he came here. He just took us all out. It was awesome. Took us all out on I remember a British pride excursion with the bacon. I still remember him talking about bacon and pride and I think scones or something like that. I'm just stereotyping now. But like, it was an awesome speech. And it looked like he barely was even trying. He just came up here and went bang. He was just chilling in the corner and then came over and his speech was so good I still remember it today. One of the few ones I actually paid really good attention to because it was that good. So Paul Wood, great speaker. Please don't miss out. 9:30, great time to develop yourself and your team. 9:30 to 11:30. This Saturday, right here, Hy-Vee Club Room. By the ice cream aisle, by the ice cream sales. Mac and cheese is on sale, I believe, right now too. For those of you at home. Yeah. Oh, mac and cheese ice cream. Yeah. That could be a new new trend. That's like state fair food. Like, State Fair 2018. I shouldn't have said that. I could have made lots of money off that. Okay.
Coffee flavor. Forget pumpkin spice. Love mac and cheese
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, mac and cheese coffee. It's like you got an extra protein
Yeah.
sensation.
With bacon.
Like, Mr. Will.
Move to close.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good recommendation.
I second that motion.
Do we have any other business to mention about officer training this Saturday? Also known as become a great speaker like Paul Wood. Anything else? Another thing to mention is also to I was about to say regurgitate, reiterate this point, is the 23rd of this month, January, my boss, Troy Van Beek, is going to be speaking over here. And he has excellent public speaking skills. So remember, the 23rd of January.
Emery could show
Right
the
here.
speaker. Look at this with it's going to be looking like.
Yeah.
Toastmaster? Here is Toastmaster.
Right here,
Right
yes.
here?
Okay.
Right here in the Hy-Vee Club Room.
Okay.
Yep,
We'll spiff it up though.
yep.
Yeah.
7:30 p.m. right here, Tuesday the 23rd.
So here's the thing, this is where you invite all your friends to come, because we have this great speaker, but we'll also be talking about Toastmasters, so there'll be refreshments, which we're all gonna get together and do. But it's really a membership drive, but with a top-notch speaker and Dennis's boss, who happens to be Dennis's boss. We'll be talking about important topic, energy paradigm shift in the Midwest.
Yep.
A lot of people want to know that. We're going to be putting posters up. I guess the posters are going to be here
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
So you each get 1 or 2 posters. You put them up. You put them where you work, like that, just to get the word out. And then, are we going to have anything that people can email or reference? Anyway, so
I
just
can-
stay tuned. It's really important. So
I
you-
can put a PDF of this on the member,
Absolutely.
and you all can all email it to anybody and everybody.
Can that go on the Facebook
Facebook.
Yeah,
page
sure.
and
That'd be
stuff? And yeah.
Is that what we're gonna boost?
Yeah, we can
Gonna
create an
create
event
and
and
have poster.
who's gonna do the boosting?
I'll throw in a dollar.
You are?
Yeah,
Mr. Will.
Okay.
Nice.
You want me to create the event?
go for it.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
All right. Yeah, this guy looks like he belongs on a Wheaties box.
Nice. Like a boss. Nice. Mr. Will.
And I'm just gonna add that, for those, just to remind everybody, Fraser will be tabletop master for that event. And we have Naifa and Miranda on the panel. Both will be panelists.
What's that? What does that mean?
Oh, this is a good chance for you to basically talk about yourself and about your experience as a Toastmaster.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer, it's just about your transformation from the humble caterpillar
Yeah.
Okay.
beautiful speaking butterfly.
Okay.
Typically,
Yeah.
so Dennis is going to be the panel moderator. And this is a standard feature of this special event that we do in January, where we have a representative sample of Toastmasters, old, young, new, experienced, or whatever. Blue hair, dark hair, whatever. And then the panel moderator will have coordinated with you in advance, so Dennis will have some questions that he can send to each panel moderator, and you decide which one you'd like to address. So it's not like it's impromptu. You get to have thought about it, but it could be things like, well, what was something that scared you about Toastmasters, and now that you've been doing it, you realize you didn't need to be scared, or what brought you to Toastmasters? Because what we're trying to do is we try to give the audience members a sense of, look, Toastmasters come in all shapes and sizes and colors, and if they can do it, you can do it. And so it's just, so Dennis, we just decided that at the officer meeting, Dennis being the chairman, he's also going to be the moderator, so he'll be in touch with all the panel members. So it'll be really comfortable, and he'll just call on you, and you get to talk. It's like a 1-minute thing, like that, and so
And that's at this event?
that's
Yep,
this
On
event.
the 23rd. Yep.
It's like kind of like the second half.
That's also a Tuesday, this isn't a special
Yep.
night.
This is
Yeah.
all Tuesdays.
Oh.
Yep,
Yeah.
Tuesday the 23rd.
Yep.
We'll start promptly at 7:30, so we'll want to be here at 7
Oh, it's
to
not.
get, yeah, 7 to get, things set up and make sure we've got our food, placed somewhere like that. That's normally what we do.
Are you bringing food?
Yeah, we're gonna
Potluck.
bring, what we
Homemade
typically
or
do,
sauce?
wonderful.
Can we contribute?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, we
everybody.
normally, it's a
My wife
potluck for us.
likes to contribute.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Homemade food is more than welcome.
Now, normally our sergeant at arms handles the food and the drink, yes,
Can
I
I
know.
contribute my kids?
Hey, it's not big.
Yeah, yeah.
You just have to,
Yeah.
you have to make sure
So,
everyone's signed up.
You can tell,
Make a list, everyone's signed up for what
so
they're
Fraser, you can tell
Can I
Fraser,
delegate it to someone else?
if you wanna do that.
Or who would I do?
I will-
volunteer for that?
I'll volunteer for
Okay.
food.
I think having two people.
Or they'll cheat.
I
Okay.
think you did it one time
I
before.
did, I had an ice cream batch
Yeah,
with a, I don't know what
Nice.
we were doing, but
But-
ice cream.
Okay, I'll collaborate.
let Fraser and Prana know what you're bringing so that we don't get 5 bags of chips and that's all we have.
And no hummus.
No. No, I'm talking
Okay.
about some
Good.
homemade, not,
Yeah, no, anything, just dips and,
That's even
yeah.
Yeah.
Monty used to bring, used to bring these big things of guacamole with, I don't know, pita chips, and it was just really good.
That's good stuff.
So yeah, homemade is great, you can buy something here,
Yeah.
We're making food.
Sounds good.
okay?
Or just bring your credit card and just grab something on the way in.
Yeah.
Yes, if you
Anything
like,
else?
you can choose either.
Any other questions?
Speakers for next week and beyond.
I'll
We
be
don't have
beyond.
to go hand to mouth.
I'll be beyond, I still have not gotten my book yet, so I need to go beyond. I'll be
You wanna go next week?
I'll be,
Are you sure that's fair? I can wait for
Well,
beyond.
It's fair.
It's probably,
It's fair, yeah.
it's fair, but we also want people to do spot roles.
Yeah, as long as it's not hot in the limelight.
That one time when we were under deadline,
It was because you had those special ones.
yeah,
you
we had to get that
Yeah.
done, but we do wanna get some more speakers.
Yeah, it is good for you to do all of the roles.
Yeah, I haven't really been in a valley.
I think
We
Will
usually
has
like
a
it
motion,
at 2,
and
3
Dan's getting one.
before you
Yeah.
Something.
That makes sense.
evaluate all
We
of
gotta
it.
get back.
Is there anything we need as a group discussed? Otherwise, I'm gonna end the meeting. Okay. Anything?
Well, we have a motion, I'll second the motion.
We have any motions then? Hey, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Aside, you had one.